Thanks for tuning into Stocks with Antonio. It's a long weekend. Hopefully, everyone has a good one. President's Day is on Monday, so the market will not be open on February 16th, in case if some of you were not aware of that. But things will be back to normal on February 17th. And I wanted to talk about two stocks today. First one is BBAI. Now, I know I got some BBAI believers watching this, and if that's you, let me know down in the comments below what was your entry point when you got into BBI. I love to know what you got it in at. But let's talk about it, right? A lot of people haven't been talking about it. Some people said it's been dying down. Some people think it's not going anywhere. It's been pulling back. One thing to recognize in the market right now, a lot of the stocks in the market are pulling back. It's not just BBAI and everything's going to new highs. The market's pulling back. Now, I know there's some sectors that are performing well, right? But a lot of the defense sector stocks have pulled back. The tech stocks, the Mag 7 are pulling back. And there's reasons for it, right? Now, I know that BBAI in the past with its earnings and stuff, it hasn't done well. It's been known to not have good earnings, but their last earnings, surprisingly, was not bad. And I'm excited for this earnings coming up in March. Circle the day. I think it's actually March 25th. Let me verify that in case I got the date wrong. Let's see here. What day's earnings coming out? I did get that wrong. So I said March 25th. That is incorrect. It's actually March 5th. I got that mixed up. But circle that day on your calendar. I think on March 5th, we're going to get a better idea if BBAI is going to start recovering, start to go to the upside, or if it's going to continue to go lower. Now, the last time I looked at it was on Friday when the market closed, and I believe it closed around $4.07, something around there, right? And some people are like, hey, can this thing go any lower? Yes, it can, because not too long ago, it actually went underneath $4. It went to the threes. So I believe this thing, if the market continues to pull back and these sectors continue to pull back, this thing could potentially go even lower. I think break down under four, potentially visit the 350 mark, right? Hopefully that's not the case, but I think it's definitely a big possibility. But we're going to get a better idea what's going to happen with the stock, in my opinion, on March 5th. Now, I would like you, if you do have BBI, for those of you, if you're like, hey, this is never going to recover, you may be thinking, hey, I'm going to sell out of my shares. Maybe some of you may be thinking about selling at a loss. Some of you may still be up because this stock in 2025, you were able to get it under $3. So some of you got it in the $2 range. But yes, in 2025, okay, around February, BBI was pulling back quite strongly. If you don't believe me, that's okay. Go on Google, type in BBAI and look at the chart. You're going to see in 2025, BBI was pulling back pretty strongly into February, and it lasted all the way to June. But in June, it started to recover, and it got out of the twos, it went into the threes, fours, fives, and it continued to go up. So just go ahead and take a look, and BBI has done that before. It's gone down really low, and it's gone back up past $5 all the way up to nines. At one point in time, it hit $12. Now I was further back, but it has hit $12 before. But last year, it got, I believe, it even hit $10. So I believe there is an opportunity to recover. I believe that BBAI will recover with the market if the earnings are good. If we get a surprise in earnings, I think this thing can go right back to where it was. It was maintaining the mid $5 to $6 range, and I can see it going higher than that if this market turns around. And I think that's a possibility. I don't think in 2026 it's going to be a year that the market just crashes. Now, we have a lot of things going on in 2026 as a midterm, right? We're getting a new, uh, what is it? The Fed chair, Jerome Powell, right? He's getting replaced. So there's a lot of uncertainty and the market selling off, right? When people don't know what's going on, that's what the market does. Investors take out their money and they put it into what they believe is a safer bet, a safer play. And that's what I believe is going on right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. And then when it comes to the tech sector, right, including the Mag 7, a lot of investors are selling off. Why? Because they're concerned about the heavy investment that these companies are making into AI infrastructure. Now, in my opinion, if you ask me, I believe these companies know what they're doing, right? These companies didn't become huge because they didn't know what they were doing. Now, I think it's normal for most people when a company is investing heavily into something for people to have their doubts. That's just normal. Just in your everyday life, go to someone that maybe you're close to and tell them that you're going to do something different, right? And a lot of people will experience when you tell someone that you're close to, you're going to, maybe do a business or side hustle, people will be negative about it. People just tend to be negative. So when I see the Mag 7, I see Amazon pulling bad. I look at it as a great opportunity in 2025, especially if you watch stock videos. People were telling you that Amazon at 220, at 230 was a great price. Now that it's under 200, why wouldn't it be a good price? Oh, because their earnings revealed that they're investing heavily in AI. To me, as it pulls back further, it's creating a great opportunity to increase your share count if you have it for a long-term investment. It may not recover right away. It may continue to pull back since right now investors are rotating out of the tech sector and they're going into different sectors in the market like energy. Energy right now is doing well. So a lot of you might be looking at your portfolio and it's red, but there's sectors that right now are performing pretty well. Look at Pepsi, look at Coke. They're even doing well. So there's stocks right now that even though you may be seeing a lot of red in your portfolio, their stocks are performing good. And the reason is a lot of investors are selling out of the Mag 7, right? And even the defense sector with BBAI, you see Palantir had a great earnings and they're still selling out of it. And in my opinion, I think the market's going to start to recover soon. One of the reasons I believe that after the market closed on Friday, I noticed that Ethereum is starting to go up. Bitcoin is starting to go up. Crypto is starting to kind of recover. Now, I believe if you see crypto bouncing back, I think the stocks are going to fall. So when I saw that, I said, hey, maybe next week when the market opens on Tuesday, maybe we start getting a surprise. Maybe we start to go in green and some of these stocks have been selling off. But Amazon under 200. Now, I talk a lot about doing short term. I do both. And Amazon's a long term investment. I got into Amazon in 2022. Under 200, I'm going to increase my share count. Am I going to play a short on Amazon as well? The only short I would do on Amazon, it would be an option call. If it continues to drop under 200, I will look at a support level. I gotta look at the chart again, but I think it has a support level in the 170 range, but I gotta double check that. I might be wrong on that. But if that is a support level, I don't expect it to go further down, even though there's analysts thinking this thing could go back down to 140, 150. They could go down to prices back of, I think, around 2023. But if you look at Amazon, same thing I said with BBI, go ahead, go on Google, type in the Amazon, look at the stock chart. Back in 2023, Amazon dipped all the way down to $90. Okay, this stock in 2022 was well over $100. It pulled back. If you bought in 2022 and you saw the pullback, but you just held it because it was a long-term investment, it recovered and it went on to new highs, right? It didn't happen overnight. Pulled back in 2023 and some point in 2024, it started to recover in 2025. It went all the way to $250 a share. Now it's pulling back. I still think it's a great company. I understand they are investing a lot into AI. I understand that investors are concerned about that because they believe it's going to affect them in future earnings. But I think long term, they're going to prove to themselves that they made the right decision. I don't believe we're in an AI bubble. I believe that investors, like with people in your everyday life, when they see a company in this case, doing something that they are not familiar with, that they don't understand, they're not seeing profit so quickly, they get scared and they start to get negative. If you started a business today, it's unlikely, depending, of course, what business it is, for you to receive a profit immediately. So these companies are ginormous. They're investing heavily into AI. I don't think they're going to see that return on investment so quickly like investors would like. So that's why I'm saying this is a long-term investment opportunity. But because they're investing heavy and the stock's dropping because investors are not liking that, that could be a great opportunity for you to build wealth. Okay, because really where you build the most wealth is in downturns, right? People start to panic. They freak out. Retail investors start dumping their tech stocks, and the stock starts to come down, and you get in at a good entry point, and nobody can time the market. That's why I say it's always good to have a little bit of money on the side or as much as you can, right, to take opportunities of pullbacks. And when you start to get into some of your favorite stocks that you believe in, dollar cost average. So, for example, if you had 10 grand, 5 grand, whatever the number is, don't take that whole amount and just put it into Amazon because it dipped below 200 because it can continue to go down further. If you see it under 200 and you find that as an attractive entry point, you put some money in. If it continues to pull back, you watch it. If it goes from, if you get in, for example, let's say at 198 and this thing pulls back at 190 or 188, and you think, hey, this is it's still a great company. You believe 10 years from now it's going to be higher than what it is today. You buy some more at 188. If it goes further down, you do that. But I believe Amazon's going to go a lot higher. That's what I'm going to be doing. Everything I've talked about on this channel is not a suggestion for you buy, hold, or sell. It's me sharing my opinions on two stocks that I know BBAI, some people that I personally know I lost faith in it. I have BBAI. I think BBI, depending on this earnings, that's why I'm saying March 5th, we got to pay attention to earnings. I think this company could go higher, right? They acquired a new company, Act Sage. They've been making some changes. Now on March 5th will be a day to get some more insight and see how the company's doing. You know, hey, they acquired a company. They're in the defense sector or they gain new contracts. Is their revenue finally growing? We're gonna get to see. And I think we might get an earnings better than most people expect. And then if you believe that, right, and you were getting in at the $4 level, if it breaks under $3, you might be rewarded, especially if you're just trying to do it short term. Now, BBI is a longer play. I don't think it's going to recover that quickly, right? But if you're looking to get into the stock under $5 because you believe it's going to go to the $10 range and then $15 range, it might take a while, but you want to get into it, right? Some people sometimes they sit on the sidelines waiting for that perfect entry, right? They don't even know what that perfect entry is. They're waiting kind of for a gut feeling. And it never gets to that point for them. And then this thing starts to recover, and then they regret that they never got in. If you're investing long term, you just want to get in. Now, you don't want to just buy when we're at all time highs, but we're pulling back. So that's what I'm doing. Amazon, I see as a great opportunity. I believe 10 years from now is going to be a lot higher. Just go ahead and Google. If you would have invested $1,000 into Amazon 10 years ago, what would it be at today? And I bet you'd be surprised. I think BBI could be an opportunity to get it right now at the current levels. Watch it for more of a pullback, and you could possibly be rewarded on this one sooner than you believe. But that's also really going to depend on March 5th. So if you are a BBI shareholder or thinking about entering it, wait for that earnings call to make a decision to sell it or to buy more. It's what I would do. That's my opinion. You don't have to do that, and understand that anything you do when it comes to the stock market, it does carry risk. You can lose money, and holding a stock through earnings, it is risky, right? Because if they get a bad earnings and you were thinking about selling, the stock can pull a lot further back. So you might be disappointed that you held, but it's a risk you take, and you have to come up why you decided, why did you hold? Did you do research? Do research and come up with your own conclusion. But those are my opinions. I think BBI is getting to attractive levels. I think it's pulling back because the rest of a lot of parts of the market right now are pulling back. It's not just that the market is doing great and BBI is getting killed. It's a big part of the market's pulling back, right? And there are parts in the market that are doing well. And maybe some of you that are listening to this are investing in energy and segments of the market that are doing well. And if you are, let me know too down below, right? If you are an investor in the stock market, let us know. Are you holding these stocks? What's your view? Do you think we're going to go to new hires in 2026? I definitely do. And I think we're setting up to get those rate cuts that investors want. I think it's going to happen after summer. Maybe we get a surprise. And based on some of the data that's come out, we get it before summer. We'll have to see. But I think 2026, we're going to start to get rate cuts eventually. I think the market's going to go to new highs. I'm still excited about 2026. And last year, all the pullbacks ended up being opportunities. And I think some of these pullbacks that you're experiencing right now are just going to be opportunities. And the ones who reap the benefits are the ones that are investing during these times. Let me know what you think, though, down below. If you haven't done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. And please smash that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.